I used to be the fun-loving, carefree optimist, the person who always looked on the bright side, made people laugh, and believed deeply in the goodness of others and the strength of love. But after my W8 stepped out on me multiple times, something in me shifted. I forgave him, I truly did, and I've tried my hardest to move forward. I've done the work, emotionally and mentally, to stay in the marriage and rebuild what was broken. But the truth is, even though I stayed, I'm not the same. I couldn't believe it when I found out about the first affair. It felt like the ground was crumbling beneath my feet, the world turning upside down. My heart was pounding as I confronted him, tears streaming down my face. How could he do this to me, to us? I thought we had something real, something unbreakable. But the cracks had already formed, and more betrayals followed. The betrayal didn't just damage my trust in him, it shook my trust in myself. I became someone who questions her worth, who second-guesses her instincts, who doesn't walk as confidently through the world anymore. The lightness I once had feels like it's been replaced by a constant undercurrent of doubt. Each time he strayed, it was like a dagger to my heart. The pain was visceral, raw, tearing me apart from the inside out. I tried to bury it, to push it down, but it lingered, a constant reminder of his betrayal. And with each betrayal, a piece of me crumbled away, leaving behind a hollow shell of who I used to be. What hurts the most are the times he notices and calls me on it. He recently chided me about no longer being a glass-full kind of person. And while I know he didn't mean to be cruel, it cut me deeply. Because I miss that version of me too. I didn't choose to become this way. It was a side effect of surviving what I never thought I'd have to survive. His words stung, each one like a lash against my already wounded heart. How could he expect me to be the same person after what he had done? How could he expect me to continue living in a state of naive optimism when he had shattered my trust so completely? The wounds were still fresh, still bleeding, and he had the audacity to point out the scars. But the worst was yet to come. As I tried to navigate the aftermath of his infidelity, I discovered that the damage went far beyond just my own sense of self. There were dark shadows lurking in our once bright and happy marriage, shadows that threatened to swallow us whole if we didn't confront them head-on. Not much deeper into our relationship, trying to uncover the roots of his infidelity. What had driven him to seek solace in the arms of another? Was there something I had missed? Something I had failed to provide? The questions haunted me, keeping me up at night, gnawing at my insecurities. And as I dug deeper, I unearthed hidden truths, painful revelations that shook me to my core. As we both struggled to come to terms with the aftermath, I realized that healing would not come easy. It would require time, effort, and a willingness to face the darkness that had seeped into our lives. But through the tears and the uncertainty, I began to see a glimmer of hope, a chance to rebuild, to redefine, to emerge from the ashes stronger than before. Slowly, tentatively, we started to have difficult conversations. We talked about our fears, our failures, our hopes for the future. It was a painful process, dredging up memories and emotions that had long been buried. But in that pain, there was also a sense of catharsis, a release of the pent-up anguish that had been festering beneath the surface. And as we opened up to each other, we began to see the faint outlines of a new beginning, a chance to rewrite our story, to forge a path forward together. Despite the scars that would always remain, I found a new sense of strength within myself. The trials we faced together had tested the very fabric of our relationship, but somehow, we had emerged on the other side. And though the wound still throbbed with the memory of past hurts, I knew that we were both committed to the process of healing, of rebuilding, of rediscovering the love that had once bound us together. Tom's asterisk. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with twists and turns, doubts and fears. But as we walked hand in hand into the unknown, I felt a flicker of hope ignite within me. I didn't know what the future held, what trials we would face, what obstacles we would need to overcome, but I knew one thing for certain. I was no longer the same person who had been shattered by infidelity. I was stronger, wiser, more resilient, and as long as we faced the challenges together, I knew we would emerge on the other side, whole once more.